On a hot summer day in 1966, Texas became the stage for a shocking series of murders that would haunt investigators for decades to come. In the heart of the American Southwest, the state of Texas was experiencing a typical summer in 1966. The air was thick with heat, children were enjoying their break from school, and families were taking advantage of the long, languid days. It was a time of innocence, a time when the unimaginable was just that, unimaginable. Yet beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic summer, a sinister plot was beginning to unfold. An atmosphere of unease began to creep into the everyday lives of Texans. Whispers of strange happenings, unexplained events, and fearful rumors began to circulate in hushed tones. It was a day like any other when the unthinkable happened, a series of murders so shocking, so brutal that it would shatter the tranquility of this peaceful summer day. Without warning, the lives of ordinary Texans were turned upside down, their sense of safety and security ripped away in an instant. As the news of the horrifying events began to spread, a chilling realization swept across the state. This wasn't just a random act of violence, but a meticulously planned and executed series of murders. The brutality of the crime sent shockwaves through the community, leaving everyone in its wake grappling with the grim reality of what had occurred. The authorities were left stunned, caught off guard by the sheer audacity of the crimes. They were faced with a scene of unimaginable horror, a puzzle with pieces so gruesome that even the most seasoned investigators found themselves at a loss. And so began a chapter in the annals of Texas history, a chapter filled with fear, shock, and the desperate search for answers. As the sun set on that fateful day, the full extent of the horror was yet to be revealed. Little did anyone know this would become a day that would forever be etched in the annals of true crime history. As the day began like any other, no one could have predicted the terrifying turn of events that was about to unfold. It was a typical morning in 1966 Texas. The sun rose, casting long shadows on the sleepy town, and the residents started their daily routines, unaware of the dreadful day that awaited them. The children headed off to school, the adults to their jobs, and the elderly to their morning walks. Then, as the clock struck midday, the first murder occurred. The news spread like wildfire, injecting fear into the heart of the community. The shock was palpable. The local law enforcement, equally stunned, swung into immediate action. The sheriff, a tough yet compassionate man, took charge, vowing to do everything in his power to bring the perpetrator to justice. But the day was far from over. The evening drew to a close with the town under a cloud of fear and uncertainty. As the day wore on, the horror only intensified, leaving a community in shock and despair. In the aftermath of the bloodshed, a frantic investigation was launched to catch the perpetrator. As the dawn of a new day broke, law enforcement officers descended upon the scene of the crime. The initial stages of the investigation were marked by a palpable sense of urgency and a meticulous approach to gathering evidence. Every corner of the crime scene was scoured, every potential piece of evidence cataloged, every lead pursued with relentless determination. This was an investigation like no other. A grim tableau of violence had been etched onto the otherwise peaceful Texas landscape, and it was up to the investigators to decipher its horrifying message. Witnesses were interviewed, their accounts pieced together to form a narrative that was as chilling as it was confounding. Men, women, and children who had been living their everyday lives were suddenly thrust into the limelight, their recollections of that fateful day becoming crucial pieces in a complex puzzle. Yet, despite the multitude of leads and the tireless efforts of the investigators, the case was proving to be a formidable challenge. The sheer brutality of the crime was matched only by its baffling complexity. Initial theories were formed and then discarded as new evidence came to light, only to be replaced by more questions, more dead ends. The investigators were up against a wall. Time was of the essence, and with each passing day the pressure mounted. The eyes of the nation were upon them, waiting for answers, waiting for justice. Yet in the face of adversity they remained undeterred. They pored over the evidence, dissected witness accounts, and cross-referenced their findings, all in the hopes of finding that one elusive piece of information that would break the case wide open. But as the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the investigation seemed to be stuck in a state of perpetual limbo. The more they delved into the case, the more convoluted it became. It was as if they were trying to piece together a puzzle with missing pieces. Despite their best efforts, the investigators were left grappling with a case that seemed to defy all logic and reason. As weeks turned into months, the relentless pursuit of justice continued, even as the trail seemed to grow cold. The investigation of the shocking 1966 Texas murders was a marathon, not a sprint. Each day, investigators woke up to the same unresolved questions and the same chilling crime scene photos. They pored over every detail, every lead, chasing down every possible direction, no matter how far-fetched it seemed. The pressure was immense, not just from the public but from within. The desire to bring closure to the victims' families was a constant, gnawing presence. Each dead end was a setback, a blow to the morale, but it was also a spark that lit a new determination, a renewed resolve. No stone was left unturned, no lead left unexplored. Breakthroughs came, but they were few and far between. Each one a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. But with each new piece of the puzzle, the picture became clearer. Each breakthrough brought them one step closer to the truth, to the justice they so desperately sought. The toll it took on those involved was immense. The sleepless nights, the endless days, the constant pressure. It was a price they were willing to pay, for the pursuit of justice knows no bounds. The investigators were not just doing their jobs, they were on a mission to solve a puzzle that had haunted them for months, a mission to bring peace to a community in mourning, a mission to ensure that the victims did not die in vain. The determination of the investigators was unwavering. They knew the road to justice was long and arduous, but they also knew that every step they took was a step towards closure, towards healing. They were not just looking for a perpetrator, they were looking for answers. Answers that would bring peace to a grieving community, answers that would ensure such a tragedy would never happen again. The case that began in 1966 would leave a lasting impact, shaping the future of criminal investigation in ways no one could have imagined. More than half a century later, the 1966 Texas murders continue to haunt the collective memory of a nation. This unimaginable tragedy, which saw innocent lives abruptly ended, remains etched in our minds, a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. Let's take a moment to revisit the key points of this shocking event. The day of horror, when peace was shattered by the gruesome murders, marked a turning point in the annals of crime history. The investigation that ensued was a showcase of relentless pursuit of justice, even in the face of overwhelming darkness. The tireless efforts of the investigators, their commitment to uncovering the truth, and their refusal to let the victims be forgotten, set new standards in the field of criminal justice. The legacy of the 1966 Texas murders is more than just a story of a crime. It is a story of the human spirit, of resilience, and of an unyielding commitment to justice. It has shaped the way we approach criminal investigations, inspiring generations of investigators to push the boundaries, to question, and to never give up. The case has also left an indelible mark on the true crime genre. It has fascinated and horrified enthusiasts, spawning countless books, documentaries, and discussions. The 1966 Texas murders, despite their grisly nature, have contributed to our understanding of the human psyche, of violence, and of the lengths people will go to seek justice. In the end, the 1966 Texas murders serve as a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity and the tireless pursuit of justice in the face of unimaginable horror. It is a legacy that continues to resonate, reminding us all of the power of truth, of justice, and of the human spirit.